Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Well, today we reached some record-breaking warm temperatures. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Eric Miller. The high at RDU, 76 degrees, and the high in Fayetteville, just take a look at that, a full-on 80. Meteorologist Grant Skinner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with more. Grant, we're expecting rain and a couple storms overnight before a cold start.
That's right. Warm temperatures ahead of this cold front that'll bring a chance for showers and some storms overnight, and then we'll have some drier conditions into the back half of the day tomorrow into Monday and some colder air. You can see that front slowly working its way in our direction. That's our next weather maker that'll impact us tonight and into tomorrow. Again, record warmth, 76 RDU, broke the record of 75 set back in 1930. The record in Fayetteville was 79, also set back in 1930. So much warmer today than we typically see at this time of the year. Dual Doppler 5000 showing a couple of showers back to the west, but we've been a lot quieter on radar for the triangle and points to the south and east through much of the day today. The majority of the rain has stayed to the north and west, and the reason for that is that front that's supposed to pass through our area has stayed stalled just to our west a little bit longer. So I think the majority of the rain will come late tonight into early tomorrow. We had a couple of showers up towards Roxborough. They're mainly to the north now, so looking quieter up towards Roxborough. A 30% rain chance through 9 o'clock, and that best chance for rain early tomorrow morning. A couple of brief storms possible, then windy tomorrow. We'll talk about those conditions leading to an increased fire risk. Also, how much cooler will be by tomorrow evening, then how chilly will be by Monday morning. That's coming up.
Grant, thank you. And remember, you can track those storms with the free WRAL weather app. There are more than a dozen different radar views for you to choose from. Be sure to turn on push notifications so we can send important weather alerts right to your phone. Well, protests against immigration enforcement are happening in cities and towns across the country today. That includes right here in the Triangle. This comes after an ICE agent fatally shot a woman in Minneapolis on Wednesday. WRAL's Kirsten Clark joins us live in Cary tonight. Kirsten, hundreds of people gathered there to protest.
Eric, we're at the intersection of Kildare Farm Road and Maynard Road. The area has cleared out now, but just hours ago, people filled every sidewalk and corner holding signs and expressing their anger against the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. More than 1,000 miles away from Minneapolis, calls for justice are being heard just as loud. Martha Glass with Cary Indivisible was the leading force in making this protest a reality.
What do you hope comes out of this?
We're hoping that these people, all of whom are scared, that they will adopt their immigrant neighbors, that they will use every way that they can to demolish ICE being in our cities.
Protester Mary Ellen Rickards told us the call to action was a no-brainer.
Get out of the mall.
After she watched footage showing an ICE agent fatally shoot Renee Good.
I was angry, I was upset, I was sad.
Meanwhile, the Trump administration has accused Good of trying to run over the ICE officer.
It's depressing to think that the person who committed this committed it in cold blood and then fled the scene, and then immediately the White House and supporters of the White House came out blaming her for her own death.
For others, their frustrations amplified after putting themselves in Good's shoes.
First thing I said to my husband was that could have been me, and it shouldn't be anybody.
And regardless of what happens after protests like this one are over, Glass says at least the world will know where she and others stand on the issue.
It is being called murder because that's what it is.
Again, the group that organized the protest today, they're called Cary Indivisible. We were given this information card, and it says that part of their mission is to defeat the Trump agenda. We were told that today was not the last of their demonstrations or protests. Live in Cary, Kirsten Clark, WRAL News.
And anti-ICE protests continued in Durham as well, drawing hundreds of demonstrators this morning. WRAL's Flynn Snyder has their demands for accountability.
For the third straight day, anti-ICE protests erupt in downtown Durham.
Justice for Renee Nicole.
Demonstrators demanding accountability after the deadly shooting of Renee Nicole Good and recent immigration enforcement in Durham.
Hundreds of protesters marched through downtown Durham before coming here to Durham Central Park. They're chanting, they're holding signs expressing outrage over the shooting.
I just was moved when I saw the videos of Renee Good getting murdered by ICE in Minnesota.
New video of the shooting is drawing mixed reactions. The White House and federal officials this week defended the agent who shot Good, identified as Jonathan Ross. North Carolina's GOP called the shooting justified.
Someone lost their life, which you never want to see, but the video speaks for itself when you see this agent is in front of her vehicle as she's accelerating forward, and the agent acting in self-defense.
Many at this protest say they were spurred to march after watching footage of what happened.
When I saw that, it was totally unjustified. It was just an innocent person got murdered in broad daylight.
Protesters set off fireworks and spray-painted messages in Durham on Friday. Saturday's march remained peaceful.
We need to make our voices heard. I just cannot believe that we're doing this. And every day, every week, there's something else.
Organizing group Engaged Durhamites for Democracy vowed to hold more demonstrations. Flint Snyder, WRAL News, Durham.
And there are some demonstrations going on right now, including a vigil at CCB Plaza in downtown Durham that's scheduled to last until 7. A couple dozen people gathered in Wake Forest to protest ICE. This is the area around South Main Street and Roger Road. We've reached out to both ICE as well as the Department of Homeland Security for comment on all of this. So far, we've not heard back.
I'm Elizabeth Holmes in the WRAL Live Center. Today, U.S. forces launched a wide-scale strike against ISIS in Syria. It's part of what's being called Operation Hawkeye. Now, this is a direct response to the killing of 2 U.S. National Guard soldiers and a translator back in December. 3 other National Guard members were injured. We're learning that all of the National Guard members were part of the Iowa National Guard, hence the name Hawkeye. Right now, CNN is reporting that Saturday's operation hit more than 35 targets.
Elizabeth, thank you. We have new information tonight about a deadly shooting in Granville County. The sheriff's office there said they responded to a report of a shooting around 7:40 last night at the Family Dollar in Stovall. Ryan Ellington died there at that scene. The other victim was taken to Duke by helicopter. Officials have not released that person's name since they're younger than 18. It's unclear the extent of their injuries. 19-year-old Aiden Moss is now charged with first-degree murder and attempted first-degree murder. He's now being held at the Granville County Detention Facility without bond. The owners of a dog shot and killed by a Wake County deputy are talking to WRAL after learning that deputy is no longer employed by the sheriff's office. According to a Facebook post from the sheriff's office, the deputy left the office in September of 2025. The deputy, who was never identified by the office, was accused of shooting Paul and Paige Briggs's dog, Zelda, inside their home while attempting to serve a civil process warrant in April of last year. In a security video from the home, the deputy is clearly visible on the porch. He opens the storm door, knocks, and calls out to see if anybody is home. The dog can be heard barking off camera. About a minute after the deputy walked through their unlocked front door, 4 shots rang out and the deputy shouted. The Briggs camera kept recording as more deputies and the Raleigh Police Department arrived. We asked Paul Briggs what he thought of that deputy no longer being employed by the sheriff's office.
In our opinion, based on the videos that we have, what we know, we think he should have been let go several months ago. We're reminded daily of Zelda. We have a bullet hole in our floor in the kitchen. We have a bullet hole in our sheetrock in the kitchen with a bullet still in, behind the wall.
Now, it's not clear from the sheriff's office whether the deputy was fired or chose to leave. We'll have more on this story coming up in our late news tonight. Rocky Mount police have arrested a man for selling large amounts of MDMA, also known as ecstasy. Officers say John Johnson was carrying 1,000 doses of MDMA, 73 units of heroin, cocaine, marijuana, and oxycodone, all in his car. They say they also found more heroin and MDMA in his home and a hotel room. Investigators also seized 15 guns. Johnson is now facing several charges, and police say he could be facing more. The North Carolina Department of Transportation says train travel in North Carolina set records yet again in 2025. Nearly 740,000 passengers took the train in 2025. This is the fourth consecutive year NC by Train broke its ridership record. October was the best month, with more than 74,000 people riding. DOT attributes that high number to folks taking the train to sporting events, festivals, the NC State Fair, and the Lexington Barbecue Festival. Still to come tonight, Sacred Site returns. The journey to hand back a mound to the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians after more than a century and a half. Plus, life-changing gifts. Meet the veteran service dog pair who brought together with the help of a Raleigh Elks Lodge. If you see breaking news, have a story tip, or shoot video or pictures of our weather, please report it to us. Go to WRAL.com/report it to send your video, pictures, or tip to our news team. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Taking a live look there over Goldsboro. A bit of a windy night out there. We'll have another check at the forecast with meteorologist Grant Skinner in just a bit. After more than a century and a half, a sacred Native American site will soon be returned to the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians in western North Carolina. The mound in Macon County was part of a Cherokee mother town hundreds of years before the founding of the United States. It's a place of deep spiritual significance for the Cherokee people, and for about 200 years, the deed was either in the hands of private owners or the town of Franklin. The Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians chief, Michelle Hicks, hopes the ownership change will send a message of hope to future generations.
There's no price on culture. There's no price on traditions. There's no price on, the history of our tribe. And so, sometimes you have to be diligent. Sometimes it requires patience, but at the end of the day, it teaches, our future generations that we can never stop to make things right.
Now, the ownership restoration came out of a collaboration between the tribe, the town, and a nonprofit organization. The NC State Extension wants you to be on the lookout for this guy right here. This is a yellow-legged hornet. The organization says a nest belonging to the invasive species was found in South Carolina near Charlotte. They say the hornets don't pose an increased risk to humans, but are dangerous to honeybees. If you see this insect, please report it. A new community garden is officially open at Sug Farm in Holly Springs. The mayor and members of the town council officially sheared the ribbon to celebrate the grand opening of the garden and nature play area. You can apply to enter the garden bed lottery there before January 15th. A North Carolina veteran was given a life-changing gift today. Raleigh Elks Lodge, number 735, presented Navy veteran Larry Osmond with a service dog. Osmond has severe PTSD after tours in Afghanistan. The dog, named Radio, can provide pressure therapy for Osmond, helping to distract him when he starts to experience symptoms. The Raleigh Elks Lodge raised $15,000 to make this happen, working with Rebuilding Warriors to place Radio with Osmond.
When we give somebody a service dog, it's an instrument to help them try to achieve the new normal of what their life is going to be, and having a service dog hopefully does that for them, So he's on the right path now.
This is the second dog the Raleigh Elks Lodge has provided through fundraising, and they plan to do it again next year. As for Osmond, he recently received his trucking license and will be taking Radio on the road with him. The Harnett County Sheriff's Office has a new recruit. This is Support Canine Lennox. He's a 16-week-old standard poodle. Once fully trained, Canine Lennox will support the department's first responders, assisting after critical incidents and offering emotional support after stressful situations. The Zebulon Fire Department surprised the town's police department in a great way. Yesterday was National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. In honor of that, firefighters brought police officers some free donuts. On their Facebook page, the firefighters posted, "Thank you for your service, your partnership, and all you do to protect the town of friendly people. We're grateful to serve alongside you every day."
New into our newsroom, we're just now hearing from the Department of Homeland Security after we asked for their response following the multiple protests and demonstrations that we have seen across the Triangle following deadly ICE operations in Minnesota and across the country. This is what it said. This is from DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. It says the First Amendment protects speech and peaceful assembly, not rioting, assault, and destruction. DHS is taking measures to uphold the rule of law and protect public safety and our officers. It goes on to say that they are continuing to monitor these kinds of things, and we will share their full response on our website, WRAL.com.
Elizabeth, thank you very much. All right, turning back to the forecast today, Grant, usually one of the nice things about living in North Carolina in January is that I'm not fighting bugs this time of year. I have had to clean more moths, more ants, more creepy crawlies out of my kitchen the last week. It's been crazy.
Very, very warm out there. We hit 76 at RDU, 80 in Fayetteville, so 70s, 80s. It's really weird for this time of the year, but this won't last very long. It'll get colder pretty quickly, especially into Monday morning. Temperatures dropping into the 20s by Monday morning. So yeah, despite the warmth that we're seeing right now, we have changes to come. Of course, cold by Monday morning, but before we get there, we'll have breezy conditions, 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts tomorrow, along with dry conditions that'll lead to an increased fire danger. And of course, before the dry conditions, we have to deal with a chance for showers and a few storms. That best chance late tonight and into early tomorrow morning. I want to start with this photo from Lynn Horn. You can see a beautiful view there with some gorgeous oranges and pinks in the distance from the sunset this evening. Thanks so much for sending this in. I also have another great photo on my Facebook, WRAL Grant Skinner, and you can send your photos in to report it. That's on WRAL.com. We love to see your photos. Just a couple of showers out there. The rain chances were supposed to be a little bit higher at this point in the day, but because this front has stayed stalled to the west and the rain has backed off to the west, we're not seeing as much rain across our area. Maybe a couple of sprinkles moving into Orange County, maybe parts of Durham County right now, but most everyone is dry. That will not stay the same during the overnight hours. This is 7 o'clock on Futurecast. You can see scattered cloud cover continues. Some scattered light rain is possible earlier tonight, but the best chance will be as the cold front's moving through. We see more scattered showers, maybe a couple of brief storms pop up. And with this, we could see some brief strong wind gusts as well. It looks like that best chance for rain might likely early tomorrow morning and moving to the south and east closer to the coastline. But Goldsboro up through Rocky Mount could see some brief heavier downpours and some brief strong wind gusts. We have a brief break in the cloud cover, and then a couple of showers are left over as the system is moving out, but then the cold air quickly moves in and the clouds quickly clear out to end the day tomorrow. You can see with Futurecast and these temperatures in the 40s and 50s by 9 a.m. We warm up just a bit by the afternoon after starting in the 60s early tomorrow. And then we gradually cool into the 20s into Monday morning, 7 o'clock, mid 40s. And then you can see by early Monday drop into the 30s and eventually into the 20s across our area. It's going to be cold stepping out the door Monday morning, and highs only reaching the upper 40s to around 50 by Monday afternoon. So a big shift from the warmth that we're seeing right now. Our Futurecast wind gusts show tomorrow also some brief strong wind gusts possible, 20 to 30, maybe even 30 to 40 miles per hour in the afternoon. By around lunchtime, only 20 to 40, but with some stronger gusts, 30 to 40 miles per hour. And also the dry conditions, we will have an increased fire threat. So please refrain from burning tomorrow. 64 early in the day, then dropping all the way to the 20s into Monday morning. More sunshine to start the next week with colder temperatures, briefly warmer back to more cold, 20s and 30s for lows, 40s for highs. A big change from the warmth we've seen this week.
Whew, no kidding. Grant, thank you. Well, coming up, WRAL's Michelle McConaughey tries out a human claw machine. Yeah, you heard that right, over in Durham. We'll explain what that is and why she did it. All right, it's been a big weekend for basketball fans out there. Both the NC State and Duke men had games this afternoon. The Wolfpack played Florida State Seminoles at Tucker Civic Center in Tallahassee. FSU wasn't able to capitalize on that home team advantage, however. NC State defeated Florida State 113-69. Duke played at home today against the SMU Mustangs. The Blue Devils stayed in control throughout the afternoon, all the way to victory. Final score there, Duke 82, SMU 75. Duke is now 15-1, 4-0 in the ACC. A quick update here on the Wake Forest UNC men's basketball game, which got underway less than 30 minutes ago. Currently, the score there, Wake Forest 7, UNC 16. We'll have highlights and the results of that game coming up in our late news. All right, this morning, WRAL News anchor Michelle McConaughey became something else, a human claw. She was the first to try out the human claw machine today at the streets at South Point in Durham. The machine was set up for one day only as part of the Fear Factor experience. That's to promote the series premiere of Fear Factor, House of Fear on Fox 50. Michelle was lowered into a big bin to dig down for a prize. She came up with a Fear Factor merchandise bag, which she donated back to the bin for somebody else to grab. There were also other prizes like gift cards. Michelle called it an awesome adventure, and she says she's looking forward to the premiere of the show. It's tomorrow night on Fox 50, immediately following the NFL wildcard game between the 49ers and the Eagles. After that, you can watch it Wednesdays at 9 p.m., again on Fox 50. Thank you for joining us tonight.